This is going to be something.
I knew it was going to be something when when you sat here asking me what season we're in, and part of me wanted to say, that's kind of a good thing that we're rolling strong. We can't figure out what season it is, but it's also kind of bad.
It's just time flies, buddy. It's like time keeps on slipping.
Yeah, slipping to not the future. What's going on, all you neighbors out there? Today, we're going to be getting into some world events. We're talking about a little bit of what's going on overseas and with Israel. Also, we had a little bit of an adventure outside of Houston, and we actually got to take it together. Well, part of it together, at least. So we're going to let you know about a few gems that we discovered not far from the Houston area. And, of course, a little bit of love to the Houston Astros during these playoffs.
Welcome to Neighbors Don't Knock, the show that brings you hilarious, unapologetic conversations only these neighbors can have. Join them and guests in their weekly mission to expand the neighborhood. Now, here's your hosts, Brian Chambers and Philip Goffrey.
Hello. What's going on, all you fabulous neighbors near and far? How are you guys? What's going on, Philip?
I'm all right, man. Not much going on. What's going on with you?
Lots going on with me, actually. But not as much as what's going on overseas.
No.
And it's not something that we really plan to talk about. But again, who can tell when a war is going to start and what happens? And I know this has been kind of bothering you a little bit.
Yeah, it's it's one of these unspeakable tragedies that I can't really wrap my head around, and I think that we would be remiss if we didn't bring it up and didn't bring it up for you, our listeners and our viewers, because if nothing else, we just need to acknowledge collectively how unbelievably horrific what's happening over there really is. I mean, this at the time of this recording, we're looking at thousands of people dead on both sides of the conflict. We're looking at many thousands more wounded. We have humanitarian crises, I guess that is, happening on both sides of the conflict and all throughout the region. And it is really scary stuff. I don't know if in my lifetime I've seen anything quite this bloody happen quite this quickly.
Yeah,
if that's the way to put it.
Yeah, it's you want to think that it's not really happening, and I know for a lot of us outside of turning on, or going online or turning on your TVs and things like that, that's kind of the extent for many of us of just following what's going on, but for many that are involved or have loved ones that are, affected by this, it hits a lot harder and affects people differently. And the fact is, to get to a war, it has the conflict and the decision to not be able to compromise is, to me, is still mind-boggling that we can't find. There's so many issues that there just isn't common ground with.
Yeah, I think it's difficult for us as Westerners to really wrap our heads around this because, officially this region has been at war since 1948. And there's been stages of the war and various players involved, but Israel's always involved and the Palestinian people are always involved. And it's almost impossible to imagine that, right? Like what it's like growing up just in a constant state of actual violence and actual conflict with only brief periods.
Tension at any time, right? For that many years and so much to just, I guess I'm wondering, do you feel that this would have happened at any given point over there between Israel and Palestine? Do you think or in that region, do you think it's always been kind of high tensions for everything for so many years that it was almost something that would have happened no matter what?
I don't want to speak too much out of turn on that, but I don't think that this particular incident would have happened no matter what. I think that this is very, very clearly Hamas had a long time planned absolutely brutal surprise attack that they were going to launch against Israel. From what I understand, from what's been released so far from intelligence as of this first week of this war, this has been planned for over 2 years. It is incredibly sophisticated. It has to have large sponsorship behind it. And I'm not going to bother pointing any fingers at various actors or states out there, because that's our government's job to figure that out and come to the truth of that. But the reality is that no, I think that this particular unbelievably high level of brutality was not guaranteed. I think that this was a terrorist organization that just went way beyond too far in terms of committing just unbelievably grotesque atrocities. And at the time of this recording, where we are right now with this is that Gaza is completely under siege. They have been cut off from all food, power, water, and fuel. That's over 2 million people that are being cut off. And for the record, for our viewers, if you want to know where I stand on this, I don't think that Israel has any other choice but to go about it this way. I mean, we are talking about, we're talking about an attack where babies were slaughtered by the dozens, beheaded. Infants were beheaded. I mean, this is something I just can't imagine how I would respond personally, let alone want my government to respond. But I do think that, unfortunately, because of Hamas's actions and because of Hezbollah's actions in the north, I think that a lot of innocent people are going to continue to suffer on both sides. And I think this is going to be long and drawn out, and probably the bloodiest war that we in the modern world will hear of for quite a while.
Do you think that, at what point do other people get involved with this, in your opinion? I mean, obviously there's going to be aid given.
Yeah, other people already are involved.
Yeah,
but the United States,
but I'm talking on a larger scale.
Well, I can tell you that as at the time of this recording, the United States has already committed to sending weaponry over to rebuild, if nothing else, at least the Iron Dome, the missile defense system that Israel implements. In terms of troops and things like that,
men on
Brian,
the ground, troops on the ground.
I don't know the answer to that. I don't want to speculate on that. I think that we have been. A lot of people can argue that we're not on the brink of World War III, but we've actually been in World War III since the invasion of Ukraine. And I think that if you add this to the mix and you do get any Western troops putting boots in the ground, we're looking at World War III. I don't think there's any way around that. And I think that speculating on that would be very, very, very irresponsible. But, man, it's a scary thought.
Yeah. I mean, it's not anything that I would want anybody to be involved with the war. But I don't know. We are a great country, but we're also known for sticking our noses, along with sending aid, but putting our noses sometimes not necessarily where we need to be. And I'm not saying that it doesn't need to be, but kind of as you're saying, there are consequences, or there are, I don't want to say consequences, but there are reactions that people will take to us getting involved to a certain extent.
And I think there's a lot of truth in what you're saying, but also I think we need to be clear and keep in mind that in this particular situation, we've got, at the time of this recording, 22 dead American citizens on our hands in this conflict. We've got 17 missing, and we know that they're American hostages. So that alone dictates a mandatory response of some kind from our government, and we are officially allies with Israel. These are our friends, and we have a responsibility to protect our allies, not just morally, but this is in writing. Yeah, right. These are agreements that are fast and have long been in place. So I think that yes, culturally, we do stick our nose in places. Of course, we're a superpower and we protect our interests. And there's good and there's bad that comes with that. And we've made a lot of mistakes over the years as a people and as a government. But I think in this situation, man, we don't have much choice.
Yeah, I mean, and I agree with you. We have made plenty of mistakes, but at the same time, we've also had a profound effect in a positive way in many situations where we've gotten involved in worldwide conflicts. And we're not going to go back and rehash, the other two world wars and countless wars that have unfortunately taken place. But I will say, for anyone that is involved and for our allies there in Israel and people on the ground and being affected by this, the only thing that we can say is our hearts and thoughts go out to you. And we really wish for a swift end to this.
Absolutely, 100%. And, I personally stand with Israel on this, but again, there are going to be just countless thousands of people that are completely innocent on both sides of this. They're going to get caught up in it, and it's tragic, and our hearts really do go out to everyone who is affected by these atrocities and everyone affected by war everywhere in the world. I mean, it's just a disgusting thing, and it's never, ever justified in the end. So,
yeah, and with that, we're just going to take a moment of silence for those, and we'll be right back.
Neighbors Don't Knock is produced by C&G Communications. C&G specializes in small batch voiceover and video production for commercial media, podcasting, radio, and more.
Combining years of experience in podcasting, acting, and sales, C&G offers big media products at small business prices.
That's right. To learn more, visit their Facebook page or email them directly at admin@cngcommunications.com.
Well, neighbors, on a happier note, we did have the great privilege of visiting the wonderful city of Brenham, Texas recently. And
Is Brenham a city?
yeah,
Wow. Small city.
well, College Station's a city,
Yeah.
even though it's the only thing there is the university. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's because of the university, it's grown, I like to say. For those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, Brenham, Texas is a town that's roughly, I don't know, you're going to have to look up the population, maybe
Population of 18,000.
Yeah, there you go. And
City stuff.
it is a city. It is 18,000. There are cities with less than 18,000.
There are towns with less than 18,000.
Yeah, that's true. Well, so I guess the debate, it's a city though. It's a city, yes? Yes. Look, the city.
City in Texas.
That was in Texas.
Yeah.
Brenham. That's what it says. So unless the internet is wrong, I don't know. I don't know what decides if it's a town or a city. I would imagine it's the population.
Technically, it's a city is a human settlement of notable size.
Of notable size. So 18,000. Okay, so
That's notable.
So there you go. So like a town of like 1,000 people. Right, then you're in a town. Okay, I don't know what. If anyone put this in the comments, if you know like what number you think would make a place a city or a town.
Yeah,
let us know. I'd be curious. What do you think?
I mean, I made a note about 18,000 is notable, so there you go.
Well, notable. So we know 18,000 is a city, but how low would you go?
I would have already lost this bet because I would have guessed 18,000 would still be a town.
Jeez.
So sorry, Brenham. My bad.
Yeah. You're not welcome back.
Yeah.
Okay. So the city of Brenham in Texas is about an hour and 20 minutes outside of Houston. I was fortunate enough to be working out there for a short time and got a chance to really explore around. I mean, the food and the area is wonderful. It's his country. You're in the country, so a lot of cows, a lot of everything. But there is one thing that most of you around the U.S. Will know. It's the home of Bluebell ice cream.
You say most of you around the U.S. I had never heard of Bluebell until I moved here.
That's why I said most of you. I wasn't
excluding all of New England.
I wasn't talking about you. Well, now, okay, so let me just Bluebell ice cream is a very big brand of ice cream. It originated in Brenham. 1907 is when it started. It was actually a creamery that they were taking the excess cream that the farmer, the cows or the milk from the farmers around the area to make cream. And that's how it started. And it was 1930 that the company changed its name to Bluebell Creameries after the native Texas bluebell wildflower.
Yeah, very
That's
nice.
that's where the name came from.
I like the local love there.
So it was established in 1907. So I mean, it's a company that's over 100 years old. And again, it started out as a creamery company. It was only a few years later that they began making ice cream. So it started out as a creamery, and then they transferred into making ice cream. And and it was like when they started making ice cream, and I when I read when I was there at the factory, they were only pumping out like a couple gallons or something a day. I don't even know the amount that's pumped out now. it's insanity. But if you don't know Bluebell ice cream, go to your store, check it out. That's here in Texas. If you ever happen to come, you can. There's a visitor center. They have a nice little ice cream parlor with a shop up there. And then there's an observation deck where you can actually go. If you're there during the week before 2 p.m., you can see the workers down there and in a part of the factory kind of boxing up the stuff and seeing how things
And
kind
you
of
actually
move.
did this, right?
I did. I actually went and I checked out the visitor centers, all the history about making ice cream and the company and when they started and their timeline. It's really rooted deep in a lot of Texas history because there's a lot of connections all over and not just Houston, but it's from all over Texas. There's a lot of connections. A lot of baseball connections with it as well. There's some cool memorabilia that's there. And, and then, of course, if you want to do a little shopping and they got Bluebell and everything. And, in fact,
I figured you could walk out with some ice cream if you're already at the factory, right?
Well, you walk out. Well, this is it. I don't think you want to walk out with ice cream because I don't think they sell like the cartons there. But they do have the ice cream parlor where you can get a scoop of ice cream for $1 a scoop.
I see.
$1 a scoop. Now, let me just tell you about these scoops. Okay? And honestly, if you want to know more about the tour and what the Bluebell factory and what it's like to go over there, check out the video of me. I filmed it. I got a chance to even do a little bit of taste testing, but I did want to mention the scoop to kind of tease it a little bit. These were like softball. For
$1.
For $1.
Oh, dangerous.
Like think about it. For those of you up north, like making in a snowball fight, like packing a nice good snowball, that's a scoop of Bluebell ice cream.
Yeah, I would
Brenham.
leave there hurting. There's no question about it.
Well, I got 3 scoops wanting to try them out, and you'll have to go check out the video of which ones. I'm not going to tell you which ones I tried.
Softball-size scoops, 3 of them.
Yeah, and
so you left there hurting.
It didn't, not taxed or anything. It was like, yeah, I got to them register. He's like, yeah, that'll be $3. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
And $3 here gets you like half a pint of ice cream. Maybe, depending the brand.
Pretty much in middle of Houston, yeah.
Yeah, depending on the brand. And for those of you that are in larger cities like New York, Chicago, or LA, you may get maybe what, half a pint of ice cream?
Here's your tasting spoon, kid.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll give you that $3.
But anyway, it was a really cool experience. I think it's a fun. I think it's something that you should check out if you have the time.
I'd like to check it out.
Yeah,
I really would.
I really
would.
But you can see that video and learn more about Bluebell. I highly recommend it, especially if you're an ice cream lover or just a little historian.
And in defense of your ignorant Yankee friend here on the microphone with you, just to clarify things for my friends up in New England, Bluebell is currently sold in Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, Kansas, Missouri, and New Mexico. So nowhere back in my stomping grounds does
so they don't
actually exist.
They don't travel. They don't ever leave New York or Connecticut.
Have you ever met somebody from Connecticut? They don't have to go anywhere.
Things get shipped around, but they do have. I did learn that there is there's a factory in Oklahoma and Georgia.
Ah, very cool.
Oh no, sorry, Atlanta. Oh no, I don't know. There is one somewhere towards the East Coast, but it's in the South.
There you go.
It's not Georgia, it's Alabama. Sorry. And the reason I got thrown off is because when I was talking to someone from Bluebell, they get their peaches from Georgia.
Oh yeah.
When they're making their stuff, and they typically end up at the Alabama. Those flavors are made there because it's just easier to ship there.
I see.
So anyway, there you go. So a little bit of love for Brenham, but not only that, we got a chance because you and your wife came and stayed, and you guys got to stay at a really cool B&B in town.
We did. Yeah, I'll give a little bit.
Sorry, In the city
of
right
in the
Brenham,
heart.
in the heart.
Yes.
That's right.
Right in the heart of downtown
How was
Brenham.
that experience?
It was very cool. I'll give a little bit of love and a shout out to the Ant Street Inn, which is where we stayed. It was a lovely, lovely bed and breakfast. It was actually a
creaky floors everywhere.
extremely creaky floors everywhere. Yeah, it was.
It was an old store, right? I believe it was used as an old store.
It was. So it was originally a grocer and feed store back in the late 1800s. And then in the mid 1900s, it became an inn. And this is the, I think, third set of owners that have it as an inn. So it was very, very cool. But more importantly,
Recommend, yes, no?
highly recommend.
Oh,
highly
okay.
recommend you check it out.
Okay.
Stay. It was a great time. It was really cool to be part of the history of Brenham, being that old building and have it kind of right in the heart of everything was really neat. And
it's walking distance from everything.
Yeah. And more importantly, it was walking distance from the Unity Theater where you were performing, which, by the way, excellent, I have to say. Well done. Well done, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it was a great show. We really enjoyed it.
Sorry for all of you that missed it, but I will be, if you want to know another show that I'll be in on what something else that's coming up, leave a comment in the episode description and we'll make sure that we let you know.
You tease.
If you are in the mood to get out of the city, get to some fresh air, mooing cows,
and good theater.
Great theater, and good food too. There's good food out there as well.
Good food, yeah.
Just get away, unplug a little bit. You check out Brenham.
Yeah.
It's pretty close. It's kind of midway between like Austin and Houston, and not far from College Station. So if you're kind of within that area, it's kind of a cool day trip or weekend trip that you can do. It's really kind of cool.
Indeed. And for our neighbors who are not from Houston but planning on a visit to the area, if you do decide to do something like Brenham, 1, highly recommend, again, the Ant Street Inn. 2, recommend catching a show at Unity Theater. But 3, if you do stay for a few days, there's all kinds of really cool historical towns around it as well. There's Round Top and Fredericksburg. And
Chapel Hill.
Chapel Hill, yeah. There's a lot to see within sort of hour-ish to 45 minutes coming in there drive from that country area. So it's worth doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And my wife and I checked out a vineyard. There's a vineyard out in Chapel Hill, which it's about 20 minutes from Brenham, so it's really close. Yeah, it was really nice. It was lovely. So there's plenty of stuff out there. But before we get out of here, okay, I just want to give a little bit of love to the Houston Astros. Yeah, they're battling right now. Hopefully winning at the time of this recording. Hopefully we are celebrating a Houston victory, which would send them into the ALCS, the American League Championship Series, for the 7th straight year in a row. If not, then we'll make another video of us just crying, or me crying and Philip saying, "What the?" So anyway,
I'll just nod my head as if I know what's going on.
Exactly, right? But we just want to say, go Stros, whether it's this year or next year, make sure you guys support your local teams.
I shop local, so I can support local as well.
Yeah,
go Stros.
There you go. Go Stros. But anyway, Philip, I think that is all for today.
I think so too, Brian. Thank you for being here today, and thanks for taking the time to talk about some of the heavier stuff along with the lighthearted stuff. I hope that we don't come off as too tone deaf, trying to bring a smile to our faces and to your faces. We know that there are very, very difficult to digest things going on out there, but still try to remember that there's a silver lining and there's a reason why life is worth fighting for. So happy to smile with you as well.
All right. And also make sure, what would make me happy and smiling even more? Blue Bell. But if you viewers right now or listeners would go and hit that subscribe button, hit the little notification bell so you get updates and you never miss an episode.
Indeed.
Follow, like, and subscribe to the podcast or YouTube channel.
We've got great guests coming this season and some on-location shoots you're not going to want to miss.
That's right. We'll catch you guys next Friday. Peace
out.